Hey guys, welcome to my home. Today you're going to get a sneak peek behind the scenes of inside my 5-bedroom detached home. The first thing that you notice about this house is finger door money. You touch the finger and it is sensitive and it will open for you. Who wants keys in 2025? No way. Forget about keys. It's new technology. It's time for a new wave. And the second thing that you might notice is when you come in, it's automated lighting. So in all of the sort of the corridors, etc., you just walk through and it will pick up your motion sensor, which is fairly easy to have. I feel like every home should have motion sensor lighting. We've got some cool little decor over here, which the missus loves to decorate. And one thing that happens when you come into nice houses, sometimes they don't have a lot of storage. This house has major storage for your coats, your shoes, your bags and everything in between. And check this out, this is kind of like the tech cupboard of all of the dangly mangly wires. I dare not touch anything in there because I am not a tech guy whatsoever. But you've got CCTV, internet, all of the sort of tech gadgety stuff that operates around this house, which I know very little about how it works behind the scenes. I just know it works. So that's that. Come on through to the main kitchen and living room. So we've got the living room set up over here on our left-hand side. Obviously you can see it's beautifully decorated. We've got speakers in the ceilings, which really makes a difference, by the way, because you've got speakers in the ceilings all around the house, which means you can just play your music from YouTube, Spotify, wherever you like to play your music, and it will play in the room that you select it, or just play it all around the house. So when we have nice events here, when we have friends, family over, etc., we just put the music on through the speakers, which is super cool and easy. We've got garden speakers back there outside as well. So yeah, this is obviously my daughter's little playpen. Kaya, she is 15 months at this point. So that's where she likes to run around, have a good time. Obviously we've got a 7/8 seater dining table here. And of course, this is where we have food. Well, the reason why I wanted to move to a bigger home, I had a 4-bedroom semi-detached home in West London before, and that was all right. But I remember one Christmas, I had all of my family around, my mum, my aunties, brothers, sisters, etc. And I said to my mum, come and sit down on the table. Why are you eating standing up? And she was like, oh, no, there's no space. And then I looked and it was like a 4-seater table with like, I don't know, 20, 30. I was like, there's no space. I was like, this is way too small. So I was like, next house I get, I've got to have a bigger table so that more people can sit down, be relaxed, etc. And yes, it's not a 30-seater table, but there is plenty of space for people to navigate, sit down, rest in this house. So I just wanted to have a bigger family space and a bigger environment for people to just feel relaxed and feel their home in my home. So yeah, as we walk through, so we have actually got a centralized Hoover. What does that mean? That means that any dust that you put in through here will just swoop itself up through the pipes in the walls and it will go up to the centralized Hoover, which I'll show you later on. So I don't know, let's say, for example, I want to show you this in real time, right? Because people are going to be like, what? How does that work? That's a bit weird. So let's say, for example, kids spilt some sugar and stuff. So instead of obviously like going to get down on your hands and knees with all of that old stuff, you just flick that on and that will just suck it all up, yeah? Magic. And that will end up in the Hoover upstairs on the first floor, which I'll show you guys a little bit later on. And yeah, and then we just have obviously like loads of cupboards, loads of storage space, nothing too great in here. I remember when I first moved in, must have been about 3 weeks in, and my friend came over, Neville, and he was like, oh, I was like, where's the cutlery? I need to get like a cutlery drawer. And he was like, no, you just pull this out here. There's so many like secret compartments to this place, which is super cool. Yeah, this is just standard kitchen. We've got 1 oven, 2 ovens, 3 ovens here. And I always thought to myself, when you go into nice big houses, when I started to like look around at various houses and stuff, I always thought, why do people want 2 ovens? Why do people want 3 ovens? That's just dumb. That's just a waste of space, just a waste of money. When I moved here and I realized, you know, when you're cooking for lots of people, etc., when you have friends around or guests, it's always nice to have multiple different ovens because you might be cooking multiple different dishes. Integrated fridge, integrated freezers on that side. And yeah, you just have a utility room back here, which is nothing fancy, but it's just utility, isn't it? Fun stuff, if that's what you'd like to call it. Do people still iron?
I don't, but
See, yeah, we we send most of the stuff to the dry cleaners. You've got a little wine cooler in here. That's pretty much it for the downstairs main living room. You might have seen some of this on Rich House, Poor House when they came over to the house and they were super excited, and yeah, it was super cool. So in here we have what used to be the cinema room with cinema seats and all of that sort of stuff until the missus moved in and she was like, we need to change this, we need to make it look prettier, we need to make it more family-like. You know what it's like. If you're a man and you're watching this, you know what it's like. But in here, it's beautiful. None of the decoration is down to me. I don't do that stuff. I would have just been keeping it plain, basic, simple. But my missus, Katia, had done all of the decoration and made it look absolutely wonderful. Sometimes when I work from home, I would map out on this desk here, which is nice, plenty of space for me to map out my ideas and get super creative. Inside every room in this house, we have a bookshelf. So this is one that I get my son to read every time he's here, every week. You Were Born Rich by Bob Proctor. Really good book for getting insights, inspiration, and really just feeding your mind with positive energy, positive insights, positive influence, so that it's kind of like recharging your mind every day or every week in order to get sharp, get focused, and get to the bag, get to doing what we need to do. As you see, automated lighting in the bathroom. I came in here the other day and I was like, something's changed. So Mrs. has been in here, she's been decorating, she's been making it look pretty with vases and, I don't know, baskets and plants and all of this sort of stuff. I'm a man, so I'm just like, okay, whatever. All right, great, lovely. So that's what it is. But yeah, let's head upstairs and let's see some of the bedrooms. So on the first floor, we have 4 bedrooms, 1 ensuite on the first floor. There's actually an ensuite in this room here. It's occupied at the moment, so we won't go in there, but it's a beautiful, massive ensuite in there, which is absolutely stunning. Here's a guest room, which is lovely, double wardrobe, chest of drawers, TV. Always got to have an LG TV, by the way. I always find them very easy to use. Beautifully decorated, as you can probably see. Looks out onto a massive field out there. Sometimes I just like to listen to the kids playing on the field and stuff from the school. So it's quite a nice like background bit of audio. It just keeps you focused, keeps you engaged. This is the centralized Hoover that I was sharing with you earlier. So all of the stuff from downstairs or from various parts of the house comes into the beam centralized Hoover in here, and you also have this large contraption which actually it plugs into the wall, right? So you have these little inlets, I think they're called, in here. You plug it in here and then you just hoover and then it will send it all back to the centralized Hoover. I guess the main point of it really is to be a little bit more time efficient, so you don't have to keep on changing the Hoover bag and all of that sort of stuff. It just all gets centralized in here, and you don't need to carry around a big Hoover. To be fair, we don't use it that much, but when there's 2 cleaners here, they like to use 2 different Hoovers, so we've got one little handheld one, and one of them uses the inlet, which is quite convenient. So you never know how you're going to use these things, but they just happen to have good use and good function. So yeah, here is my thinking chair. I remember, it must have been about 10 years ago, and who was it? Leadership coach, what's his name? What's the leadership coach's name? Main leadership coach, old guy. Anyway, he said, always have a thinking chair. I remember when he said that, I was like, yep, I need myself a thinking chair. And in my old house, I didn't have space on the landing for a thinking chair. So now I have one, and anytime I need to think, I need to reflect, I go for a challenging day, which isn't too often nowadays actually. It's quite good. But anytime I need to think, reflect, and just get a little bit creative, I might come here with my little digital notepad, or I might just come here and read a book. This is a New Model of Selling by Jeremy Minor. Pretty good book, pretty decent. Patrick Lencioni, The Obsessions of Extraordinary Executive. He is a brilliant author. If you are looking to grow a multi-million-pound business, not like a small six-figure business, but more like a 7-figure business where you're like CEO, you've got managing directors, you've got a team around you that you're building. Anything from Patrick Lencioni, absolute game changer. I've got probably all of his books. if not most of them. So when I was building my team at my previous company, J&C, we had a team of up to 150 people. And those books were like game changers for me, just like really navigating, because I was 27, 28, I had a team of like over 100 people. I'm like, how do I lead all these people? These people are crazy, right? So I had to learn these skills of developing, nurturing, building a team, making sure that everyone's on the same page, same vision, same mission, same values, same ethos, etc. So yeah, obviously in here, again, you've got automated lighting in the bathroom, pretty handy, pretty convenient. Got a nice bath on this. I was thinking, why do you have a bath and a shower? It's convenient. That's what you want, right? You want to have a standing shower on one side of the bathroom. You want to have a bath on the other side so that you have options. This is what life is about, my friends. It's about options. I don't want just a bath and a sink and a shower in the same unit. No, I need options in life. I need choices. And that's what you need too, right? So, how much do you think I bought this house for? Drop it in the comments. I want to see what the viewers think in terms of what the value of this house is and what I bought it for. All right, so drop it in the comments, give us some feedback. If you're enjoying what you're seeing on the channel, of course, go ahead, subscribe, like the video, so that we can help more people to become more successful. This is my children's bedroom. Zayden is 9 at the moment, and Zendaya is 7 at the moment. So they don't live here, but when they do come over here on the weekends and stuff, this is where they sleep, this is where they chill out. And of course, another bookshelf, because I'm like, listen, you guys better be reading every single morning. So every time they're here, they're reading business books, they're reading Think and Grow Rich, they're reading The Magic of Thinking Big, they're reading, Zendaya was reading my book the other day, Passion for Learning, which I probably wrote about 10 years ago, which is a book about how to develop a passion for learning in children, which is, you know, obviously came from a coaching background, coaching loads of children, and then I got onto coaching loads of teachers and even got onto coaching school leaders on how to be more effective leaders in their schools. And this is a superbly good book, by the way. If you are thinking about, in fact, wherever you are in your journey, whether you're kind of like starting out or whether you're a millionaire or multi-millionaire, Becoming a Millionaire God's Way by Dr. C. Emerson is a really good, insightful book, because I believe that so many people have fears around money. They have hesitations around money. They're like, oh, I don't want to make too much money. I just want to be enough for me. And that book will start to break any limiting patterns. Even if you're making 2, 3, 5, 10 million right now, you probably have some limiting patterns around money. And if you're like making, I don't know, 50, 100 grand a year right now, you definitely have some limiting beliefs around money. And that book will break you through from a biblical perspective, how to break through those limiting beliefs, because ultimately what he's saying is that, look, God wants you to be successful so that you can feed his children and so that you can be more prosperous and add more value to more people. And ultimately, that's what, no matter what people say, especially in like UK society, no matter what people say, that's what business is all about, innit? It's about adding more value to more people. If you add value and you do a good job for people, then they refer you, you get more clients, etc., etc. And it becomes a revolving cycle where society continues to evolve. And as a leader, you want to be at the forefront of that evolution so that you can help people to get to a better place. This used to be my office, by the way, but then we had another child and I got kicked out. So now I have an office which is about 35, 40 minutes away from here. So let's head up to the top floor, which is the master bedroom. Mrs. recently added these lovely photo frames of us and the children, etc., which is absolutely beautiful. This one says, I love you, Dad, you're the best dad in the world. You teach me football and you do nice things for us. I love you, Dad. From Zayden. That's my 9-year-old son. He's an avid footballer, as you do, you know. So if you don't know my journey about football, so I started off trying to become a professional footballer like most teenagers, and ended up playing for clubs like Wycombe Wanderers, Brentford when I was 16, 17, 18. Didn't work out in the end, ended up playing semi-pro for a few years, but then I realised I had a special talent for coaching other people, so I started coaching children football initially in schools, transitioned that to coaching basketball, hockey, tennis, gymnastics, getting girls as well as boys involved in various different sports. Head teachers noticed that I was doing a really good job, referred me to other schools. I got active, started handing out flyers, grew the team from a business that was just generating £30 a week to growing up to a team of over 100 people, growing a business that generated 3 million revenue every year. It took me, I think, 8 years to build it from 17 to 25. We hit multi-millions, and we just blew up and grew from there, and had a really, really big impact on hundreds of schools, primary schools across the country. And then from there, we didn't just do PE, we did music, we did art, we did drama, we did French, we did Spanish. This is what I talk about, packaging services up, right? Not just delivering one linear thing, but always looking at, okay, how can you add more value to your clients and customers? How can you help them in different ways that they are currently spending more on or spending time on that you can possibly help them with? And that was able to take us from typical contracts of like £35,000 to be able to generate contracts which were worth £200,000 a year plus. And that's what helped us to become a multi-million business, all right? And then I sold it when I was 32 or 34. I sold it at 34. Yeah, 4 years ago. Yeah, I sold it 4 years ago, and here we are today. I relaxed, I retired for about 9 months, and then people were like, oh, you're giving so much great business advice on Instagram. Can you help me grow my business? And I was like, no, I'm watching Fresh Prince of Bel-Air.
At least he's got the terminology down.
That went on for about 6 to 9 months. I ran my first program, 3 people in that program of 30 people made £30,000 within 3 weeks. And I was like, oh shoot, I've got something here. I'm doing a great job. I love helping people. I love seeing people win. I love seeing people make money. And from then I've just been running business development programs here in London, across the UK, and helping business owners to grow and scale, which has been pretty fun. But this is my bedroom. Obviously we've got a nice little chill out sofa area here. This is sometimes where I work out if I'm like working from home and I need a quick, sharp boost of energy, or if I'm just doing like abs, I come in here, I grab my little weights and stuff, and I'm just like, yeah, I just start pumping. But usually when I do exercise, right, I don't just do like one exercise, I combine them. So I might do like, I don't know, I'm not in the right attire for it, but I might do like a lunge and a bicep curl at the same time, you know what I mean? Or I might do like a squat and then a shoulder press, you know what I mean? So I've got to keep strong, I've got to keep the core strong, I've got to keep packaged, I've got to keep everything efficient and tight. I don't like all that isolated stuff, because as a footballer or as an athlete growing up, I always wanted to be functional, not just big or top heavy or whatever. So that's why I've always kind of combined workouts, combined exercises, and bring things together. My grandma always used to say to me, always have a book by your bedside. And I've never forgot that. I think she must have said that to me when I was about 8. And I've just never forgotten that. So I've always got books in my bedroom. You've obviously got the classics like Start With Why, Simon Sinek. You've got Start With No, which is a good book I was reading recently. That's the one. John Maxwell, Always Have a Thinking Chair. John Maxwell, 21 Irrefutable Laws of Leadership. Go check that out. Really powerful book. Obviously you've got the classics like Brian Tracy, Advanced Selling Strategies, and so many more. Oh, so let me tell you a story about this place, right? So this place used to be, this gym, what it is now, or mini gym, can't really call it a gym, but it's an exercise space. This used to be a balcony. And when I first moved here, the balcony wasn't secure. So it was fine for the first couple of years. But on like the third year, we had a really windy afternoon. And on the windy afternoon, I came upstairs and the balcony was shaking and it was like falling off. So if you can imagine, the balcony is like this high and it's falling forward. And the wind is shaking, and I'm holding this balcony thinking, oh shoot, this balcony is gonna fall on top of my house. I ain't got time for that, right? We've got insurance, but we ain't got time for that kind of energy. So I'm holding it, and I realize that it's about to fall. So I make a call, and I'm like to my neighbors, hey, can you come and sort this out? They're like, nope, we don't know what to do. So we end up calling the fire brigade. The fire brigade comes up, and this is a helpful thing, right? Because I'm up here, I'm holding the thing. I swear, I promise you, if I let it go, it's about to fall and it's about to crack on the rest of the house. So luckily, I was able to get my phone out, put on my app, and opened it. Like when they rang the bell, I saw them on the camera downstairs, and I opened the door from downstairs. I was like, yeah, come in, we're on the top floor. So little things like that just make having access to, you know, front door access and heating access, and obviously control everything from the phone in the house. And control the heating, control the door entry, all of that sort of stuff. And that just makes it really handy. So obviously the fire brigade came up, they secured it with some big chain and stuff like that. And then after realizing that this balcony had no way of restoration, after they fixed it 2 or 3 times and it kept on falling over, we just realized, you know what, let's just board it up and let's just like cover it floor to ceiling so that it doesn't fall off again. Anyway, come on through, enough about balconies. This is the walk-in wardrobe, where obviously we walk in and we feng shui, we get ourselves ready, which is convenient again because it's right next to and in between the bathroom, right? You don't want a bathroom and then you've got to go through the bedroom and then through, it's like complicated. You got to have 2 sink money. Everybody's got to have 2 sink money. You don't want 1 sink, you want 2. Let me tell you why. So I went to a hotel with my missus one time, right? And she was like, oh, come on, babe, we've got to go, we've got to get ready, we've got to get to the restaurant at 7 o'clock or whatever it was. And I'm there, I was like, she's there doing her makeup and stuff. And I'm like, why do we not have 2 sinks in this hotel? This is weird. Like, why do you not have 2 sinks? This is crazy. So when I came home, I was like, you need 2 sink money, right? You need to have not just 1 sink, you need 2. So that she can do her thing, you can do your thing, and everything is efficient. All right, so if you've got 1 sink right now, consider getting 2. Write it down in the comments, 2 sink money. This is a steam room. This was also a balcony back here as well. And balconies, like they had the birds every day just come in here and mess it up. And then one day I was like, nah, I've had enough of this. We tried all of the bird prevention devices, the spikes, the fake birds, the fake owls, all that sort of stuff. None of it worked long term, so we just decided to board it up and make a brilliant steam room out of it. You press this button here, and then in about 10 minutes or so, that will be fully heated, steamed up, and ready to go. And you've got speakers in there, play nice little audio in there. I like to listen to like Bob Proctor, Abraham Hicks, or a Les Brown, or a Eric Thomas, or a Jim Rohn, or something inspirational to get me going, especially like after a long weekend when I do my business growth events, when I do like 3-day events. Last thing I want to do is talk to people.
What?
So I'm just like chill out, zone out, steam room, relax, refresh, reinvigorate, great patterns and momentum in the mind, and then I look to go again. So as you've seen, 5 bedrooms, 3 main bathrooms here, and obviously a downstairs toilet as well. So yeah, it's a pretty cool space to live.
What about the sticky notes all around the house?
Oh, so these sticky notes, so I used to actually have these all around the walk-in wardrobe, and they serve as reminders of powerful things. People always ask me, Jazz, how do you remember so much content? How do you speak on stage for 3 days and not even have to look at your slides? Well, part of that is like really just having the notes around me, and when I need to remember something, it just captivates in my mind because I'm walking past it every single day. So that's one way, is memory. And I remember before I moved into this house, right, I started putting up sticky notes like this on my mirror in my wardrobe, because I had a walk-in wardrobe, a small one back in my old house as well. And then I was like, oh, I want to get this house, right? So I had a picture of this house, you know, like the A4 sheet that the estate agent gives you. I had a picture of this house on that wall, and I was like, do you know what? I need to get this house. I need to make it happen, but I need to break through certain barriers first. I'm gonna put this picture on the TV. So I said, no TV until I buy the house, right? And it literally took me probably 8 months or so to buy the house. So I had no TV. And every day I'd write something positive or inspirational about the house on a little sticky note, and I'll put it on the TV, and I'll put it on the TV, and I'll put it on the TV, because like, you can't have negative influence. I had to put down a 10 grand deposit to buy this house. And when I put down that 10 grand deposit, I was due to purchase and complete by December the 20th or whatever it was. So I thought, okay, cool. This time it was like August, September. So like, okay, cool. Let me just sell 3 of my houses and get this house. Because originally I came to this house and I walked in and I just came to check it out. I just came to be a browser. I just came to look around. I just came to think about maybe I'll get this type of house in 2 or 3 years time. But when I came and I saw the automated lighting, I saw the integrated Hoover, I saw the balconies, I just saw like the beauty of the home. I was like, Jazz Rose has got to be in that house. So then I made a decision that I didn't have the money at the time, put a set aside. So I was like, let me just sell 3 houses. And I said I had probably about 8 houses at the time. I said, let me sell 3 of them and then we move to my dream home, because that's more important to me than the passive income from the rental properties. They got to December, long story short, the buyer fell out 3 times. So now December and I've sold no houses, right? So this is crazy. And then I said to him, look, I really want to buy this house. I am going to buy this house. I've already put down 10 grand. I need an extension on the time. He said, if you need an extension on the time, you need to give me another 10 grand and I'll give you another 30 days. And I was like, shoot. And then I remembered the sticky notes and I was like, I'm buying this house, because it's implanted in my mind now. There's no way out. So I was like, okay, cool. Here's another 10 grand. And then I just found a way through dozens of different phone calls. And luckily I had my mortgage broker, Sarah, at the time. She came up with a really cool idea, which doesn't sound that innovative at the time, but you know, like when you're blinkered, when you're tunnel vision, you don't really see other opportunities. She was like, well, if you actually rent out the house that you're living in now, which was the 4-bedroom semi-detached home, and you rent out the studio that you've got on the side of that house as well. That will give you enough rental income in order to like not have to sell any of the other properties. So it's like, cool. So then I did that. The assessor came round to assess the house. He was like, oh, you know, what's the valuation of this house? I said, oh, it's beautiful. You're gonna love it. It's gonna be really high value. It's gonna be valued at £3,000 a month. He was like, I'll be the judge of that, young man. He just came around with his notepad. It was crazy. But in the end, literally, we had it to complete on the 31st of January, and we didn't have the paperwork until the 30th of January, right on the deadline, people, in order to complete on this house. I had to drive up to Leicester to the solicitor's office to make sure that all of the paperwork was signed and sealed. It was so stressful, but you know what? We got it done! We got it did. And that's why you have positive inspiration, because I promise you, if I didn't have those notes of positive inspiration, I would have gave up, I would have quit, and I would have still been a brokey in my old house. So don't be a brokey, don't be a broke mindset person, be an influential, aspirational person. Always have a book by your bedside. Those are powerful words that I will always remember from grandma, who is no longer with us. Let's take you to the garden. This is the garden, so my son loves to come out and kickball. Definitely need a new football net, that's coming. Back here, we've got a lovely water fountain. Come out here when we do barbecues, etc. A really nice environment for people to hang out. And obviously you've got the backdrop of the house. There's some bird mess on there. So people think that living on a big house like this is always cool, but you don't recognize like the high ceilings. You've got to pay someone to come out to change certain things. And obviously we've got to have cleaners every week or every 2 weeks to come and do like the windows, clean up the external of the house, etc. Up there on the top floor in the master bedroom, we've got electric blinds, which is super cool. We just press the button and it, I love it, I love it, I love it. I love good technology. I don't know how to use it, but I love using it. Zendaya, my 7-year-old daughter, she loves to jump out there on the trampoline. Sometimes we love to play a little bit of basketball games, shooting hoops, etc. Love giving these children experiences and just playing with them, hanging out with them, giving them experiences that I didn't have. I remember when I grew up in Perivale, there was one guy called Jerry. If anyone knows, if anyone grew up in my area, everyone knows Jerry, because Jerry had a basketball net in his garden, and his garden wasn't even that big. It was probably like, I don't know, like just a little space here, and everyone used to come around and like stand outside Jerry's house and be like, can I play, and he'll be like, no, stay outside, wait, it's one-on-one and all of this sort of stuff, and we can never really get on Jerry's basketball court. And now it's just like, okay, cool, we can have our own basketball net. It's not a court, but like we can have our own basketball net, we can have our own experiences. Because, you know, in my house where I live, we never had the space for a basketball net. You never had a front driveway with space for a basketball net, no way. Now it's just good to be able to visualize and create the outcomes that you want, the experiences that you want, and ultimately create the lifestyle that you want. So that's the end of the house tour. I hope you've enjoyed it. So go ahead, subscribe to the channel, comment below what you think the value of this house is worth. We're on the outskirts of London in sunny Essex. Look forward to staying connected. Stay well, stay wealthy, and stay winning. Peace out.